Hey everyone, welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes and I am here with the guys today. Hello, Cameron Riley. How are you?
Hello, Sybil. Hello, Damon. I am doing very well. Nice to see you all again.
Good. It's good to see you too. Welcome back. And to the man of the vineyard. Hello, Damon Williams. How are things going on the East Coast?
Hey, what up, Cam? Everything is going swimmingly, Sybil. I meant to have a sweat over my shoulder today.
Right,
I meant to.
right.
Dang it! You see my anchors? You see the anchors in my
An-
shirt?
Anchor's a whale, boy. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So we got our new batch of comedians started yesterday with J.J. Williamson, David Arnold, and B Flat, and they all came in and killed it.
Oh,
David Arnold is a beast. He
he
closed the
really
show.
is.
Yeah, and so it's going well. People are happy. The shows are sold out for the first 4 days, I believe. We might have some Thursday and a couple Friday.
Tell David Arnold that I said being his fan ain't for the weak.
Okay.
Okay, just I am a big fan of his, and he like going to see you is always just an incredible experience. I think you two are two of the best on stage, and I think that David is born for a one man show. In respect to telling his story and all of
Yeah.
that he has done, it's a beautiful thing to see. It's hilarious, it's thought provoking, it's touching, it's all of those things. But it's a lot like, and as I said, it's a lot like going to see you too, because not only do you bring the funny every time and you see the funny in the strangest moments, but your physical comedy is always so great for me.
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm trying to keep the physical up. That's why I have a bike. That's why. That's why I have a younger wife. All of that plays into it.
The recipe for eternal youth.
Are you taking
Indeed.
notes? Are you taking notes here, Cameron?
Bike, young wife. Got it.
Yep.
And may I say, just an incredible spirit too.
Well,
David, I
thank you.
was watching your Instagram the other day, and you had a moment of gratitude. You were sharing with people about taking in the moment and being grateful. Just finding those seconds, those moments, if you will,
It,
to for gratitude every day.
it's very important because no matter where we are in life, you could be worse off for one. For two, you are alive. For three, you have things to be grateful for. If you sit in your room and you're mad about it, you have a room. You know,
Okay.
So somebody doesn't have a room. So it's you can find things to take. Well, we'll say that for Yogi's Jew.
Well, I think there's an interesting intersection or a marriage, if you will, between what you give, what you gave, and what you do on social media, and what Yolanda does on social media and through the Jewel as well. And I think that Cameron and I and all of your other fans can only gain something positive from that. Like you said, you're tired because your feet hurt. Well, you have feet, and I
How
don't
about
mean to,
that?
but there was a story in Chicago just the other day at
Mm,
this place called the Playpen, where a lot of boats and people have parties and stuff and things go on. And this woman was there at the Playpen, and she had a horrific accident, and a boat backed into her, and she lost both her feet. And
yeah.
so it's not so. Those are the kind of things like make you go, "Wow, okay, all right."
I
Like
mean, we
I
we
get,
we had a tragic incident here this week. 2 days ago, around midnight, they have this bridge where everybody jumps off the bridge and they do this
mhm.
bridge jump. Well, some young people went out at around midnight and they four people jumped off the bridge and one of them they found and the other one has not resurfaced. So
Oh my
yeah, even
goodness.
here in paradise, tragedy can strike. So you just never know what your last moment will be and what you should be grateful for is the moment you're living.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
and take those moments and do what you will. All of this we're sharing with you, young Cameron. Although I suspect you have some words of wisdom that you would like to share with us, or perhaps a grilled salmon recipe that you want to share from tonight's dinner.
Sure. Yeah. My words of wisdom that I would like to share is when it comes to grilling, just let George Foreman do it for you. It's a whole lot easier.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, well, I will take that. I will take what Damon has said as well, and let us move forth, shall we?
Yes, let's.
All right, so let's take a look at the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. It is absolutely free. We would love to have you subscribe. Please go to SybilWilkes.com, give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box Monday through Friday morning. And it is our intention to super serve the African American community. Now, in some of our stories, affect us more as a community than others, and I will take the responsibility for the story today, not looking like a Black story, but it really will, I think, down the road, we'll have a more of a Black view of it as we get closer to it. And I'll explain that as we get into our discussion of the newsletter, but I want you to start, Khameron, and talk about what led to the resignation of a special education teacher in a Florida school.
Yeah. So, Damon, check this out. His name is Michael James. He's been teaching special education at a Florida school for 15 years. So you would think he has some level of expertise as to how to package some lessons for his students. Now, school starts for a lot of public school systems next week, and so to welcome his students, he had posters. He had created a poster of different Black leaders. He said that his classroom is filled with mostly Black students, and he wanted them to easily look and see themselves. Well, after creating this poster with Black leaders of MLK, Harriet Tubman, and other
The
notables.
past and the present.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he found that the posters were taken down by school administrators, claiming that it wasn't age appropriate for his students. Now, when I was reading the article, I was like, okay, like, was Harriet Tubman up there twerking? Like, I don't understand what it is that's going on. But they went on after his resignation, they went on to say that discussing these issues and topics was not age appropriate for special education students. Now, again, this man's been teaching special ed for 15 years. Something's definitely fishy. And we all know that Governor Ron DeSantis has been on a crusade against anything and everything that celebrates and uplifts difference. And between you all and me, I think this is just the beginning of these stories, with school being back in session, of the way school administrators are going to try to censor diversity.
I agree. I think that Florida, the rules are different in Florida, but I think the rules are going to spread. These ridiculous rules and regulations are going to spread throughout the country, and I'm surprised and not surprised that I haven't had that story here in the state of Texas, where the rules are different, and the school boards are in very much control of the way things are run in the libraries, in the classrooms, and what have you. Have you had any response to the story? I would love for us to talk to this gentleman, because to get a sense of what kind of response, because he submitted his resignation. Did he submit it to the governor?
Yeah, he emailed the governor. He emailed all of his school district administrators, effective immediately. And this is a white guy, mind you. This is
Wow.
someone who really wanted to put themselves out there, and heard the outcry of the movement for Black Lives over the past 2.5 years. So we can only pull the race card insofar as to the posters,
Right.
but to the
Right.
messenger, not quite sure.
So
And it's ridiculous that they could say posters are age inappropriate, or because it's not like they have words. It's like having flashcards. I mean, how challenged are these students that they think they can't understand or interpret a photograph? That's ridiculous, and we know why it is.
Right.
So yesterday in the newsletter, young Coy Malone did a story about a mother who is suing the Los Angeles Unified School District and the Board of Education because they had a class exercise in which they put up a cotton field, and they had students pick cotton as a part of an exercise to understand what slaves went through. and this is a Black mother. Her daughter was not forced to pick the cotton, but it had a detrimental effect on this child's psyche. And this was 2017, so maybe 5 years ago, when this happened, and the mother is filing suit. And it seems like from the story, you guys, that the child has never come back from this. So the other side of this, seeing what, and they thought that it was a wonderful exercise, and they did not tell the parents. They had no idea what was going on. And so the other side of this, where a man is trying to uplift and not take the children back, but to bring them forward and help them in their growth and development as human beings of great moral character, using these people as examples, or at least to see their pictures. This is what gets taken down. And the cotton field, a cotton field, is in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, California.
And that leads me to a point about cotton. Don't you think all things made from cotton should be free for Black people?
Hello, come on now.
Like, we should never have to pay for anything made of cotton. Like, you should be able to go in any store and be like, is that cotton? I'll take 2 of those. Cotton blend, I'll take that. Cotton candy. Damn it. Wrap it up. My ancestors paid for this cotton candy, damn it. That's free. Hashtag free Black cotton, because that's ridiculous. If it's any industry we could trace directly to slavery, it is cotton. So for them to still be using cotton as an example and degrading our people and putting young people through that mental trauma, that's really goofy. That's excuse me, I'll leave it there.
Yeah. And because children, we're talking about the kids.
Unless I'm selling T-shirts, those
your T-shirts. Right. Hashtag yes. Yeah.
Free Black cotton except Damon's T-shirts. I think I'll use polyester. In fact, I'm gonna get some rayon T-shirts.
That's hilarious. Okay, so if we get any more on Mr. James, let us let's try to find him. I mean, I would love to hear his take on it, and I always am interested in the follow-up on stories like this, because I think that teachers like this should be lauded. Just like we have a story in the newsletter today talking about 6 young Black athletes who saved a woman from a horrific accident. And we are always talking about putting our kids in the news for the bad things that they may do or that they're being accused of. And here is an absolutely wonderful opportunity to lift these guys up as heroes because of what they've done in helping someone escape from an accident in which this woman was trapped. So these are all things that I love. I love the lighter side in order to bring some attention to people who are doing good things. And I don't know where his next stop will be, this Mr. James, but I hope that he lands in a spot where he is appreciated for the good things that he's trying to do for his students.
Yeah.
And that certainly had to be the last straw. I'm sure there have been other things leading up to this for him to resign, because he's probably just fed up with the resistance to him being woke, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, Khameron, he's from Alabama and was teaching there in Florida. I just can't imagine. He's like, I got to go back to Alabama. I can't.
Out of all places. He definitely sounds like he has experience, putting up with, white people of the bigoted variety.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So when I talked about the fact that we do stories that super serve the African American community, I know people may be looking at our newsletter and seeing the picture, a photograph of Liz Cheney at the top of the newsletter. And the reason why I talked about her is because she is, she's planning to run against Donald Trump. No matter what happens to her election in Wyoming, where she is running for re-election as the only Congress member in the state of Wyoming. They only have one person representing in the state of Wyoming, and she is trying to get her job back, but it's not looking good. And so my point is because of the what has happened with her, and she's one of those who voted to impeach Donald Trump. She's the vice chair of the investigative committee on January 6th. She's really been the face and the voice. And this is not to take anything away from Chairman Benny Thompson of Mississippi, the African American leader there, but for all intents and purposes, Liz Cheney has been the voice and the face of the fight against Donald Trump and finding out what happened on January 6th and leading everything back to him. And so she is probably the least favorite person of Donald Trump on the planet. And the future is not looking good as far as her local politics in the state of Wyoming. But as I said in the article, don't look for a win in Wyoming, which will be the first for Cheney historically. Her father's the former vice president of the United States, but look for her to start perhaps a new party, or to bring together all of those Republicans who are no longer a part of the Donald Trump Republican Party and run against him for the nomination in 2024.
Has Trump come out strongly against her?
Oh
yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. I mean,
well, he might want to be careful because her father will shoot you in the face. So he better do it online and on Truth Social, because if you come near her father, he might shoot you dead in the face, bro.
Yeah, and call it an accident.
Exactly.
He old enough to say it was on purpose and then go cuckoo.
And then grab his heart with his artificial heart and then fall out. Damon, you're absolutely right. You don't want to get on the wrong side of Dick Cheney.
Don't want to do Dick wrong. That's what I'm telling you now. Well,
that was in my mind too, Damon. But
I'm sure it was.
I'm glad you said it.
for totally different reasons, though. I meant Richard Cheney.
Ooh, is it warm in here?
It's getting a little warm.
Yeah, okay. It's not just me. I did want to reference.
You never want Dick to shoot you in the face. Cheney, that is.
I'm going to put my glasses on too.
Oh, don't put the. That's a whole category on Pornhub. But anyway,
I have no idea.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm on vacation. I don't know if this was going to make NPR.
I did want to go a little bit further into the story of the 6 Georgia high school students, football players who were declared heroes for rescuing this woman in distress. This happened just a few days ago, as the students from Rome High School rescued this woman who was trapped in her car. And so, just to give you an idea, these are the names of the young men: Caesar Parker, or Caesar, Trayvon Adams, Antoine Carey, Messiah Daniels, Tyson Brown, and Alto Moore used their strength to pry the door open so the woman could be released. She was still shaking and panicked as they lifted her out and reassured her that she was going to be okay. And they have been shown as heroes, as this teacher said in his Facebook post. They went above and beyond to help this lady without hesitation. And
awesome.
That is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
And all of these people that are doing good things, as well as, the whole facet of our community is what we like to try to engage people in and tell them about. One more thing, tax tips. And this is from our CPA, Katrina Kraft. And tax deductions you're probably missing, giving you an idea. Here we are in August. Some people have already been making their tax payments throughout the year, but talking about from income tax-free states like Texas, you can use the IRS tables provided for your state to determine what you can deduct. And so take a look at that in our newsletter as well. And we'd appreciate it. Once again, and Khameron is our political contributor. We have young people like Khameron, as well as Quinn Townsend Riley, who is our LGBTQ activist, as well as Coy Malone, who is our social justice activist. And then we have the funny with wonderful comedians like Damon here on the It's Sybil show. So please come and join us. We'd love to have you and continue to grow here in our community. All right. So it's now time for us to talk about what's really going on. This is our question of the day.
All right.
And I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm going to put it in a kinder way, in a more gentler way.
Okay.
Where is the most unusual or the most public place you've ever made out or more?
Okay.
Yeah. So I said made out, and I haven't said that word or that term in a long time, trust and believe. But because usually you just get right to it. But this is as a result of a story about a couple arrested for having sex on a Ferris wheel at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio. This is Sandusky, Ohio. The couple was arrested and charged with public indecency after police say they engaged in sexual intercourse on the giant wheel ride at Cedar Point. According to the police reports, witnesses told police they saw the two 32-year-olds engaging in a sexual act around 7:15. The sun had not gone down, p.m. Sunday on the ride. And so this couple saw these two adults who were with two kids, underage children, saw this going on, and they knew what was happening. The kids knew what was happening. And so they said that they tried to alert the staff while the ride was still going on, but the workers were unable to hear them, maybe from the bucket that was a knocking. But when the ride stopped, the witnesses reported the incident to security officers, and they said they had a perfect view of this cart where they were going on. And the witnesses, a couple, denied that this is what they were doing. The female told officers she had shorts on under her dress, had dropped her cigarette pack out of the shorts. And so she bent over to pick them up, and her friend was helping her.
Okay. What a terrible excuse.
I guess in the heat of the moment, this is the best she could come up with, Cam. She said, they said they spoke to the couple, and they said that the girls clearly saw what they were doing. And eventually the couple did admit that they were engaged in sexual intercourse, but this is what their initial excuse was. So
when it comes to like public sex, it's all about like risk reward,
right?
Receptors. Like the thrill is in the voyeurism of it all, but there has to be something fundamentally wrong with you if you're going to engage in coitus at an amusement park where there are kids, like where there are literally kids.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
I mean, they're lucky that public indecency is all that they got off with.
Yeah. That's the absolute truth. Have you ever?
That's not all they got off with.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. There it
is. That's why he's here, and to sip whatever's in that cup. So
this is vegetable juice.
Oh, sure it is.
Because the agave. Okay.
The agave is good.
It's a vegetable.
It's a vegetable.
I could say it's a vegetable.
and so is the vodka. It's from a potato.
Right.
So for folks who are watching and listening, where is the most public or the most unusual place that you've ever made out, or as Khameron said, had coitus? And would you care to share with us? And gentlemen, would either of you care to share?
There's this place in University of Chicago, they call it the Stacks. It's just like rows and rows and rows of like ancient research journals. And I mean, it's kind of like the size of a football field under there. And, you know, kids are making their way through, trying to like pull this one study from this year to help them write their thesis. Unfortunately for them, as they were making their way through these rows of book stacks, I was making my way through a little something else. So
what time of day was this, Khameron?
It was during the school week, like in like the early afternoon, around 3 or 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, just time for school to let out, if you will.
And
then there's like occasional parking lot. You know.
What area were you in? Like history, pre-med?
The classics.
What part of the stacks were you?
I was among like journals detailing like public policy, and how that intersects with like
And you
economic
said
growth.
intersects with economic growth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I see the connection.
A lot of buzzwords there.
Uh-huh.
Intersected public growth. Okay.
Yeah. Intersection and public growth at just about 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a great story. It was after hours in a Subway sandwich shop.
Oh, and was it any one Subway shop that we know?
One owned by myself. I had the keys. And it was on my birthday.
Okay.
And if we do the math, it tracks right back to the inception of my son being born.
Conceived in a Subway
Subway
shop.
I've never told anybody, including him, this story.
Oh, well.
but yep.
Wow.
Right. Next story.
I think this gives a whole new meaning to $5 footlong.
That's exactly what I was thinking when we were talking about that not too long ago, Khameron.
We were just talking about that. Indeed, we were. So yeah, I mean, but everybody's tried. Well, I would say everybody, but in a car or in an airplane seat, or
Yeah.
So.
There've been those. I will admit to some serious making out in a baseball dugout.
Oh.
Is this pro, minor league, or school?
Well, it was college, but it was definitely pro work being done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this your like number 1 draft pick or?
Oh, he was a sleeper.
Afterward, it's Sybil. Who knew?
And we did go into extra innings. So yeah.
A double header.
Hello.
Yeah.
Get your glasses, Sybil. It's a double header. We are off the rails.
I have people with any suggestions or any places that they would like to share with us in which they have had a public making out session or not. Because there also may be Cedric Chronicle says the beach.
Yeah.
What time of day, Cedric, on YouTube? What time of day was that, I wonder? And can either of you identify? I never really got into beach work like that.
Hey, I'm like against beach boinking.
Beach boinking.
Yeah. Just too much sand.
Well,
Beach
in or
boinking.
out of the water though. See, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the water, but
In
the sand.
the water works better, especially if your lady has a little size up on her, because the water takes away the weight and you can do all your moves.
Yes. Okay.
You could be a hero in the water. You can make her feel dainty.
Well, hell, let me leave now and move my butt onto the beach into the water. That's my problem.
It's almost like doing it in a space capsule.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Gravity. Just yeah, absolutely. So at the beach in the water, Barbara Ferguson on YouTube says the movie theater.
Yeah, I don't tolerate those people. I'm actually like trying to watch the movie. Like,
And did you ever give?
I would just turn around and look.
Yeah.
They call that staring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And did anybody applaud, Barbara?
Hey, that's why we call it the show in Chicago.
Okay.
Right.
The chicken. Oh my God. Shirley and Tony Davis says on Facebook, the chicken coop.
There's a joke about cock-a-doodle-doo there somewhere.
Yep, right there.
I hope it was just the chickens laying eggs.
Yeah. And I
Oh
hope it
my
was
goodness.
actually chicken coop on a farm and not like a restaurant called Chicken
Called
Coop.
the chicken
Yeah,
coop.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
wide
Yeah.
open.
Right.
But
right.
either or, you get it in, Shirley, with all them names you deserve.
Shirley Ann Tony Davis.
Yeah.
Gwen Webb said, at work in my office.
Oh,
Door
yeah,
open
classic.
or door closed, Miss Facebook? Was the
Mm,
door or was it in the collating room?
right. Collator. My first job, City Hall, I was working on the collator.
Okay.
Nice.
And was there any work being Damon work being done in that
Oh,
office?
in City Hall, man,
Mhm.
boy, I loved my job.
And
There
was
were
this,
so many places in that big old building. You know,
yeah.
if you had access, yeah. Cause see, I worked on a floor in between two floors. I worked at 3.5. They used to call it 3M. So
Uh,
that was where they kept records, and it was sort of like the stacks. So, yep, in my youth, the old City Hall and the Harold Washington administration.
That's what I was going to ask
Oh,
you. Was it during the
nice.
Washington? I bet there was a lot of fun during the Washington administration for a lot
Yep.
of folks that had never been in City Hall before that got jobs there and did really
Yeah.
well.
And
Did
actually,
really well.
there's a documentary that screened here. There's a film festival here on the Vineyard, the Harold Washington documentary, which is done by Raymond Lambert, who was the proprietor of All Jokes Aside, where I started my career. So shouts out, look out for that.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
nice.
And were you able to see it and
No,
to catch up?
it was,
You
no,
guys were working
yeah.
together? Yeah.
But he did make it to our show after his screening, so it was good to see him.
Oh, that's nice. And
Yeah.
it's a documentary on Harold Washington.
Yep.
Okay. And did you say Showtime?
I don't know where they
Okay.
screened it, so I don't know if it's being
Okay.
distributed
Okay.
yet. But
Okay.
look out for it. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gail Artist says Caribbean Sea. Now
All right.
which of the ships was it? Was it perhaps what was the last one you were on, Damon?
The Equinox by Celebrity. That's the word C. But I think she was actually out in the water.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Or
Hey, or on Lido.
I might as well, Knight.
Might as well indeed.
Arthretta Wilson on Facebook said, in my
Nice.
mother-in-law's attic.
I hope it wasn't summer.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
hot in the
my.
attic in the summer.
And I hope there were no creatures other than your partner in there. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's also something you just don't want to, because oh my goodness. I love this. Don H.R. Frederick on YouTube said, I left what I thought was a so-so party in the community room. I left and felt a tug on my arm, and a tall chocolate mother stood against a telephone pole. Let the games be ending in a nice car. That's a nicely well-told story there,
Wow.
Don.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a romance novel. She wrote it
I-
out.
I sense like
Yeah.
a future
A
smut
tug.
career here. Very good.
I'll buy it and feature it on Sybil's book club too.
Indeed. There he was, the tall, dark stranger.
With a
It was
nice
this
car.
telephone pole I was interested in.
The one that was never mind. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great. Shirley Ann Tony Davis
Oh,
says,
and she said
the chicken
was on a
coop
farm.
was on a farm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
not the Coop restaurant that is famous in Tuskegee, Alabama.
Hmm.
That's what they call the chicken restaurant there, the Coop. Gregory Grant on YouTube says, in the backseat of my car with my wife when she was my girlfriend at the park. Oh yeah, doing it in the dark.
Yeah, Rock Creek Park.
Rock Creek Park. Yep, absolutely. Anybody want to talk about car action?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I considering that all the cars in my family are, under my mother, I will also abstain from talking about car accidents.
But I will tell you, if you get down in the car, like people won't even notice because people are so unaware of their surroundings.
That's true.
So, but make sure the car is in park. That's all I want to tell you, people. Let's not be out here wilding in traffic, because
Right.
unless you are really skilled as a driver. And make sure you're driving, sir, because
exactly.
never mind. That's an old dirty joke. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody keep your head up, eyes on the road.
Well, that has been fun. I thought that it might bring a little levity to the conversation, and in light of Damon being, in work vacation mode, and talking about these things, and not making it too uncomfortable for you to Cam, being there
Oh, that's fine.
with the family around and all of that. So I appreciate you guys. So this all came from a story. A couple just recently, they were charged with indecency as they had sex in one of the cars of the Ferris wheel, and they were spied upon. They were viewed in very easily, apparently, by a couple and their 2 kids. And so, whatever the excuse was that she tried to use, they finally realized how ridiculous it was, and they had to fess up. So, Denise Cuffy on Facebook said, and this story falls on National Roller Coaster Day. Yay! Cedar
Nice.
Point, the Queen Mother
Whee!
of Coaster Park. Yes! Oh,
Right.
sorry.
I would be way too scared on the roller coaster to focus.
Yeah.
No
Especially-
way.
How about the one, and we'll talk about this. Maybe we'll do this as an express yourself question on another day. I was thinking about the rides. Okay. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. It is now time to talk trending topics. And let us start with you, young Khameron Riley, playwright
okay.
extraordinaire. Tell us about your playwright competition.
Yeah. Definition Theater is a new theater company who will be opening a black box theater on the southwest side of Chicago, kind of beginning this exodus for just a black inclusive cultural hub. Every year they host a series called Amplify, where they amplify local playwrights, and I was featured this year. And their theme was about reunions, reconnections, romance, and building community. And the festival just concluded this weekend. Those of you all who want to check out the work still can. They're going to release some virtual streaming programming a little bit later on, so I'll definitely share the links with you all. But it was definitely a learning experience, and I got to network with some really cool artists who are up and coming, who are very much doing the work. And I sincerely hope that I can apply again next year. And of course, I want to win it, but I think that the more valuable piece of it was just to meet a lot of people who are in it, who are definitely doing it.
Could we vote, or was there already a group of people who were there to judge?
Yeah, no, voting is still ongoing. When they share the streaming link to all of the pieces, I'll happily send you all the link to weigh in and vote upon the proceeds. I also secured a funding opportunity for a short film that I completed recently, called Coronary Artery, about the public health crisis that is the public transit system in the city of Chicago.
So you were able to complete that project?
Yeah. Yep.
On the train?
I'm still in the process of gathering interviews, but the film itself is complete, and the funder that I petitioned for a bit of grant money has granted it. I can't make the official announcement naming the who's and the things until September.
The money has not exchanged between hands there.
Yeah,
right?
Not yet, but I'm going to have a dry reading of the play this Sunday, and then I'm going to do a bit of a press tour to try and match the grant money, so I can pay some of my genius actor friends and my designer friends who can really make this happen.
That's great. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Nice. If you want to try to have a fundraiser, maybe at Riddles, we can pull that off too.
I will quote you on that. That it's not just the liquor talking.
You got it.
It's agave. It's just
Yes.
agave.
It's vegetable juice.
All right. Cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, that would be incredible. Thank you so much.
Yep.
It's vegetable, and I'll go in with you on that, Damon.
Indeed.
To have that would be awesome. To have a fundraiser for young Khameron in his efforts. Damon, you mentioned this is your last week in the vineyard, and so you had. I heard that you had a great show Saturday night. It was a tough crowd, according to one of the acts, but I heard that it ended up being a really, really great night.
It was an awesome night. Sherry Shepherd was our headliner, talent from New York, featured, and I hosted, and they were a fantastic crowd. It's just, sometimes, the vineyard has a aura and a weight to it because these are
Hmm.
allegedly the black elite. But once you hit the funny bone and they start drinking, everybody's laughing.
Yeah,
So that was awesome, and it's bittersweet that we're at the last week because this place is beautiful, but normally I go back and I say, okay, I'm going home. Now I got to start back on the grind, but I'm going straight home, straight to Riddles to hang out with J. Anthony Brown, George Wallace, and Myra J. And I'm hosting. So all the gang is back together this
that
weekend
is.
at Riddles. So, and I would like to say that, the tickets are moving really fast for the 8
Yeah.
o'clock show. We got we got some work to do for the later show. We should have made them a day party and a
Oh
regular
yeah.
time show because our fans and their fans are getting up in
Hmm.
age, but
Hmm.
they'll be forced to buy them. Everybody take your naps and
Right.
come on out to the 10:30 shows because the 8 o'clock shows are practically sold out. But I can't wait just to hang with them and see the energy and have us all together and laughing and joking and just to see my people back at the crib.
Absolutely. That is going to be awesome. And
Yep.
and having seen them well their first night in Atlanta, and
Yes.
it really was like the gang being back together again and watching everybody just really just soak up, such a great jokes and material and memories of days gone by. So yeah.
And Tom actually asked me some details, so he might pop up.
Hmm.
He's prone to do such.
Yes,
I'll
he
never
is.
forget that when I was doing Seriously Ignorant News on a Tuesday, where you at this weekend, Damon? I'm like, well, I got the show in the Cayman Islands and blah 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 blah. And I told him who was on it. He's like, wow, that sounds cool. Man,
Uh-huh.
he said I wish I could go. So then Thursday night, I get a call, and it's the first time he ever called my cell phone. So
Hmm.
I'm looking at it, and of course it's restricted, and I answer, and it's say, man, you know. So I'm like this, it's Tom. He say, I'm coming. I'm like, you coming where? I'm coming to the show. So he fired up the jet, and it was
Hmm.
Angela's birthday, his assistant, and they
Hmm.
made it to Cayman on Friday. Now, not mind you, they wanted to lay the red carpet out and greet him and all that, and
Right.
but no one knew how he was coming because he flew private. So
Hmm.
he gets there Friday, don't say nothing to none of us. He calls me Saturday morning like, hey man, I was holding court at the Ritz last night, and so your boy got messed up and I missed the show, but we're coming tonight. He had 10 people and we had a ball and it
Uh-huh.
was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he rolls strong too.
Yep.
He
It was
really does.
awesome.
Yeah. So make sure you got the good stuff at the bar,
Yep.
and
And a couple
and
extra seats.
exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. That's going to be awesome. So folks, once again, how can people get their tickets now, Damon?
DamonWilliamsComedy.com is the easiest way. You hit that and it'll take you right to the link on my site. And Riddles it is. And every weekend, if you can't make it this weekend, make it there because we bring the best and it's adult, it's grown. I like to call it Chicagoland's home of the grown and funny. We right outside the suburb, the city in a little suburb, and you got to ride through the police department gauntlet of Mount Greenwood to get there. So it's relatively safe
Right. Right. Yeah.
considering the climate of the world.
It up
It's
front
as
there.
safe as you
The
can
world.
expect.
The world
Yeah,
is right. Yeah,
right.
absolutely. All right. So in nationwide and international news, she had to know she was going to get it at some point soon. And the First Lady has tested positive for COVID-19. The First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, announced this today, catching the virus just a couple of weeks after her husband went through 2 rounds of COVID. Her communications director released a statement today saying that she developed cold-like symptoms, pretty light symptoms, but cold, and after testing, tested negative during her normal cadence, but also then they tested again as the symptoms continued. And yet she continued to test positive after a couple of tests. So she is going to quarantine for a few days. And as they are already on vacation and the president was coming back, he came back to sign the big bill of his administration. This is the Inflation Reduction Act. It's signed into law today at the White House, and the president, did all of his talking, and they were applauding, and it was a big celebration because this is a pretty big effing deal, as he liked to say about some
Right.
things during the Obama administration. And this is, Khameron, I think you'll agree, a long time coming. This is something that was a part of the massive Build Back Better plan, which he could not get everyone to sign on, including Joe Manchin. And so they went away for a long time. And Manchin and Chuck Schumer, the majority leader of the Senate, worked on this bill. And a lot of it is going to be it's going to be the largest clean air package in the history of this country.
Yeah, and not to mention it being a large investment into climate change prevention, but
Yep.
it's going to save everyday folks a lot of money. Joe Biden's been trying to stick it to big pharma and big oil ever since he got in the White House, and so he finally got them to cap the price on these prescription drugs because some of it was absolutely ridiculous, thousands and thousands of dollars for insulin, for EpiPens, and so we're going to see some financial relief, hopefully, in the coming years.
So let me just say this about and as you made the very important point for, especially for our people in talking about lowering healthcare costs, it will save the average enrollee $8,000 a year in the ACA marketplace. The American Care Act marketplace allows Medicare to negotiate 100 drugs over the next decade and requires drug companies to rebate back price increases higher than inflation. And as you mentioned, they're going to cap off insulin at $35 per month for people on Medicare. And that's a big deal. They had hoped that they would be able to do it for all people on private insurance plans, but apparently that's not going to happen. But it is going to help a lot of folks, and especially when you hear those stories about people making a choice between paying a bill or getting their insulin and things like that. So that is good news.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, and this got the way. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Damon.
No, go ahead. You have facts. I have jokes.
Oh, okay.
we have room for both.
Okay. I'd just like to circle back to the fact that Jill Biden tested positive, because that certifies the authenticity of their marriage, because right? Because Trump got it and Melania never got it. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, my wife, when she got here, I got sick one day. I had some type of food poisoning, and I was like, man, I had missed her already all week. And then she came, and I was finally looking forward to being with my wife. And I'm like, if I tested positive, if I got it, she got to get it, because we're not gonna skip a whole other week. It's the vows are in sickness and in health, so you're gonna get some of this COVID if you come around me. But I'm fortunately,
that's what Joe said to Jill.
Yeah, hey, they don't call me Sleepy Joe for nothing. Let's go lay down.
It's time for a nap. Yeah. So anything else you wanted to bring attention to that is coming through this bill?
Yeah. I mean, I just think that it's time for our Black lawmakers to, hold Joe Biden accountable to his homework. I mean, the George Floyd police accountability is still, dead in the Senate. And we've only been 2 years into this presidency. We got 2 more years to go. It's time for him to follow through on the Black agenda.
And let's not forget the John Lewis Voter Rights Act, right? Okay. The one thing the president has done today, gentlemen, as the August 31st deadline looms with the pause of the student loan payment scheduled to come to an end, another $4 million canceled in student loans announced today. And who qualifies for this? These are people that got their loans to go to those for-profit schools like ITT, that lost all of their money because of the promises that the schools made to them regarding jobs and their future hiring, and they didn't get it. They lost a lot of money. And so the Biden administration is implementing the $4 billion in student loan forgiveness through a group discharge process under the Borrower Defense to Repayment Program. And the discharge announcement will cancel the federal student loan debt for borrowers who attended ITT Technical Institutes from January 1st of 2005 through its closure in September 2016.
I had a lot of friends who got scammed by IT Tech. Yeah.
And some of them thought they were going to IIT.
Yes.
The Illinois Institute. No, not so much. So they must submit a formal application to apply for this repayment, and it will automatically apply to all such ITT borrowers. And that is from January of 2005 to September of 2016. Still no word on the rest of those still owing on their student loans, but they're still hopeful. And they've been putting the press on the president. So we'll see what happens there. All right. And with that, we got a couple of food recalls. I'm just going to run through those very quickly. Home Run Inn frozen pizza has been recalled. They found some metal pieces in the frozen pizzas of Home Run Inn. Frozen pizza products may be contaminated with extraneous materials. And we also have Capri Sun.
Yeah, I saw that one.
The Capri Sun packs may have some cleaning solution in them.
Who is still drinking Capri Sun? We already had a situation where they were showing if you can't see it, all that sediment, and if you pour it out, it looks like crud. And now they got cleaning solution.
Now they have cleaning solution, and it's about 5,000 packs, cases of it, maybe. And so they're telling people to don't even open and to turn it back in and get your money back. So, all right. So those are our trending topics, and let us move on to entertainment. And with entertainment, I got to tell you, we got the highs and the lows, the living and the not so living. Let's start with comedian Teddy Ray, who died last week in an apparent drowning. Found in a pool while he was on vacation near Palm Springs. This is the young comedian, 32 years old, and was on the rise. He was known for a number of shows, his appearances on Wild and Out, How to Be Broke, and Pause with Sam J on HBO, as well as MTV's Messiness. Young comedian was found in a swimming pool, and they don't know what caused the drowning, but he was found by a worker at a house apparently that he was renting. And it's just another sad ending. And he was friends with the other young man who died, who was in his 20s and died last month as well.
Yeah.
They just call him an all-around funny guy. Damon, were you familiar with him?
Familiar. I've never worked with him, but I did know exactly who he was. And a lot of my good friends, especially the younger comics in the generation under us, they were all posting and they all, have stories about him. But it's tragic and unfortunate, someone with so much light and potential is taken from us so soon. So I hope the details are not sketchy.
Right.
But either way it goes, it's a tremendous loss.
It is a loss. It is a loss. And also sad to report the death of a veteran actress. Her name is Denise Dowse, and she was known in a number through the generations, actually. She was the vice principal on Beverly Hills 90210. She was a lovely actress, and also most recently known as Issa Rae's therapist on Insecure.
Oh,
and so if you look at her, you go, oh, that's who that is. Yes. She was 64 years old and had been in a coma after it was discovered that she had an inflammation of the membranes in her brain, between her brain and her spinal cord. And so her sister had reported that she was in a coma, and a week later she succumbed to this, and she was 64 years old. And just a beautiful woman, and a really one of those who you saw steadily work. And like I said, she was a regular, and I think I saw a couple of posts from stars of Beverly Hills 90210, like Ian Ziering, talking about what a great colleague she was, and a great talent, and how much fun they had with her. Now, the good news is that Adrienne Bailon and her husband, Israel Houghton, have announced they have had their first child. They announced that they have the arrival of their little boy. His name is Ever James, and she is feeling very happy. Apparently, they've had a lot of challenges and struggles to get to this point between IVF, and she mentioned miscarriages and things like that. But now she says all we feel is joy and overwhelming love and gratitude. Adrienne Bailon, that many of us know from The Real, and as well as a musician, the Cheetah Girls. and a singer, and Israel Houghton we know from gospel music and Christian music. So congratulations to them. And as I said, they've been trying for a very long time. So that's great.
Nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one more time, just want to mention for entertainment, if you want real entertainment, they're coming to your town. If you don't get to Chicago to see them, they will be, but I do recommend Riddles on the weekend. But please check out J. Anthony Brown, George Wallace, and Myra J., the Queen and her two jesters, as I like to call them.
And a surprise pop-up from yours truly. And everybody get the newsletter.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate that, Damon. And so let us close out with Yogi's Jewels, today's daily inspiration. As a wise person once said, open your mind before your mouth. Open your mind before your mouth. Try it. Try it. You'll like it. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad we're all back together again, and good luck for the rest or break a leg for the rest of the week there, Damon and Khameron, in your playwriting endeavors as well. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you all soon. Aloha.